Father Cilia was born on 30th January 1936 at Hamron, a village in one of the islands that make up the country Malta, but grew up in another island, Gozo. He was the elder of the two children of Francis and Michelina Barbara. He did his preliminary studies in Gozo and also completed his senior Oxford there. It was in Gozo that young Cilia first met the Salesians in the Oratorjuta Don Bosco in Rabat. That paved the way for him to go and study in the seminary in Gozo. When it was time for me to make a choice for life, I opted to become a Salesian. He did his novitiate in Sicily, and after his first profession on 16 August 1955, he made another option to go to the missions. He came to India in 1956. In India, he was sent to do his BA and philosophy from Salesian College, Sonada, from 1956 to 1959. After his practical training on Regency in Kolkata from 1959 to 1962, he went to study theology in Kotagiri from 1962 to 1966. He was ordained priest in Shillong on 17th April 1966 by the servant of God Archbishop Stephen Ferrando, SDB. After his ordination, he was sent as an administrator to Don Bosco Provincial House, Guwahati from 1966 to 1969. Subsequently, he was appointed assistant parish priest in the parish of Sora for a year, then in parish Pin Ursula for 2 years. In 1972, he was assigned the task of opening the parish of Jonksha. He was the first parish priest there for 5 years. His ordination companion, Father Alexis Sanglura, was assistant priest. He was next appointed administrator in Christ King College from 1977 to 1978. In April 1978, he was replaced by Father Roland Kharkrang, while Father Cilia remained on in CKC. In 1980, he was transferred to the Salesian Centre. It was in 1983, Father Cilia was entrusted with the gigantic task of starting Don Bosco Youth Centre, a long-cherished dream of the province. For quite some years, the Salesians of St. John Bosco felt the need to open a youth centre for the youth of Shillong and of the surrounding areas. The opportunity came when St. Anthony's College shifted to its present spacious premise. After the church built by the Salvatorian Fathers in 1913 had burned down in April 1936, the building which was there where the present Don Bosco Youth Centre stands was used and was known as Pro Cathedral. After the present cathedral had been blessed in November 1947, the Pro Cathedral was given to St. Anthony's College for use, and the college used it as chemistry laboratory. In 1982, Father Cilia started using it as a makeshift youth center building. Father Cilia himself writes, "This portion consisted of a big hall 140 into 30 feet. Father Thomas Chinginiadan SDB, then posted at Pastoral Center, was asked to remodel the hall, which was divided into 3 rooms with a small chapel attached to it. Father late Bishop Mathai Kuchuparambil, the Provincial, announced the formal opening of Don Bosco Youth Centre towards the end of the Provincial chapter from 23rd to 27th April 1983. Father Joseph was appointed in charge. The Provincial made the announcement on the floor of the Provincial chapter. Later, Father Provincial said to Father Cilia, "I promise you no money and no personal." He kept his word. Father Cilia made further alterations in the existing building. The building began to function formally in August 1983. It was blessed by Father Provincial in the same year. In order to be more effective in his ministry for the youth, Father Cilia went in 1985 and studied at Loyola University, Chicago. He also attended courses in Pune and Vellore. Father Joseph Cilia spent more years in the mission of Jongsha, which he and Father Alexis Sanglura opened in 1972, than in any of the other parishes. They had 25 villages to look after. They had to do most of the touring on foot. Father Joseph said, there were very few roads. We had to do a lot of walking hours. In the villages, they looked after parents, children and young people. They would spend at least 2 days in a village where they visited the sick, blessing and settling marriages, visiting families besides preaching and teaching. Those were the years when missionaries had to do a great deal of encouraging and coaxing of parents to send their children to school. They found in one school there were 12 pupils in class 6. Halfway through, 2 dropped out. Father Cilia found this incident repeating itself in several villages. It was not easy to get parents to send their children to school and for the children to stick on to the end of the year. So they tried a trick. They told the Catholics that Holy Communion would not be given to parents who do not send their children to school. The trick worked. Now that the school has grown into a college, and the students of those years are today doing well in life. In 5 years, Father Cilia upgraded a lower primary school to upper primary, then to high school level, and gave it a building. He also constructed a dispensary for the village. Father Cilia narrates the following success story. One of the first children in one school was a non-Christian girl from a very poor family. Eventually, she decided to become a Catholic. Later on, she opted to join the Sisters of Charity of Mother Teresa. The sisters did not trust her immediately, as she was a new Christian. They told her to wait. 2 years later, she applied again and was taken in. She became a missionary in Vietnam. She used to write to me and would not fail to come and see me whenever she came to India. His passion for the young. Father Cilia and Don Bosco Youth Centre are 2 names that stand together and complement each other. He was here 36 years from his day 1 to his last. As it is today, the building is his gift to the young people in Shillong, wherever they come from. Of the 3 floors, one wing on the 2nd floor is a residence for the inmate who run the youth center. There is an indoor stadium inside the premise. The chapel is well used. All the activities are job-oriented and intended for the young people. To those courses that had been started by Father Cilia, Father Michael Makri, the present director, has added a few more, specially connected with media. Father Cilia had in mind particularly the poorer young people, and so he kept the fees as low as possibly could. Even when he was no more in a position to run the youth center, he could move around and saw it that fees were not exorbitant. Very importantly, Father Cilia gave the young people not only the building and the courses, he gave them himself. He took the step to get himself qualified and informed to give the young professional service. He was, as someone remarked, ahead of anyone else in the field. He gave to those in need his expertise, his time, his advice, his counsel. That is the reason why, as of now, the void is gaping wide. His ministry with the young people was polyfaceted or polygonal. he would meet them in seminars, symposiums, in classroom interactions, in liturgical or paraliturgical celebrations, in private counseling, spiritual retreats, or prayer sessions. Any forum of the young or about the young, Father Cilia was there. In matters concerning the young, he was one of the most sought resources persons in Shillong or out of it, in the state or beyond it. The awards, tribute and appreciations are ample evidence of that. In his passion for the young, Father Cilia accompanied the Catholic Youth League through several years, and the young people loved him. He has at least 3 appreciations from them. 1 in 2014 and 2 are from the members of yesteryears who are grateful to him for his selfless and relentless love and service.
Then the biggest experience for me was here at the Youth Centre, when I was sent to begin Centre, where I spent 30 years in apostolate among the youth. I got used to young people because I worked for them, and I began to know the needs of young people, what they asked for, what they required, and so on. My experience at the Youth Centre is something I shall never forget, because I spent the longest period of time with young people here at the Youth Centre.
Apart from the young people, Father Cilia is sorely missed also by the members of the Alcoholics Anonymous Shillong and their families. He started the Shillong chapter in 1993. He loved, tended, accompanied it fondly, and delicately nurtured it till the end of his life.
I started, for example, with regard to drug awareness programs. Why? Because at the time and even now, drugs are very common in Shillong. I started following programs in schools nearby. Shillong has got plenty of drugs, obviously, and the young people are very attracted to drugs because of parties, because of whatever it is. What I discovered with regard to drugs is that there are areas where drugs are available. Like, for example, where young people gather, that is the place where drugs are to be found. Young people, for example, near schools, near playgrounds, near cinema halls, near parties, and so on. Now, it is here that young people meet with drugs, and unfortunately, a number of them fall a prey.
In the mature years, Father Cilia brought out 3 booklets. 1994, in the International Year of the Family, it helps youngsters find their bearings in their families. 1996, The Killers, Drugs and What They Do. 2013, Memories Down the Years. He started in 1995 Teen Talk. It is a bi-monthly handout that deals with the entire gamut of topics that relate to the young people. It is theirs just for the taking, free. Apart from the above, Father Cilia writes regularly in magazines, souvenirs, papers, in Khasi or English, his target groups, youngsters or parents.
Tyler's work started telling on the health of Father Cilia soon after 2010. After his ordination in December 2013, Father George Shining Limboy was sent to help Father Cilia with running Don Bosco Youth Centre. Father George was replaced by Father Paul of Grindrolinkot, Vice Provincial then in 2015. Father Michael Macri, the present director, came in 2017. Father Cilia lived 30 years with only 1 kidney. He also had a pacemaker implanted in 2008. In 2012, he had a fall while walking on the road back to Don Bosco Youth Centre. He had arthritis, Parkinson's disease, diabetes and high blood pressure. In 2018, he suffered periodically from low sodium too.
Father Cilia had been hospitalized a few times. He broke in and out of hospital, which he visited for medical checkups. Me and the hostel boy who took turns to attend on Father Cilia 24 hours. On 9 December 2018, I was with him for the night. Every now and then, Father Cilia peeped across the curtains at the boy on the other side. At 3 a.m., he asked for coffee. So I helped him up onto a chair and prepared the coffee. Father Cilia winced one or twice as if in sudden pain and looked as if he briefly and seizure or fits. Then his heart dropped and he became motionless. So I called Father Michael down, Father Roland Karkaran, and Brother Shimin Khan, whereby Father Cilia sat within a few minutes. Although we did not suspect anything seriously untoward, Father Roland gave him absolution. Father Cilia did not respond to anything with tired. An ambulance was called and he was reached to Nazareth Hospital at 3:30. The doctor declared him brought dead. He had died of a massive heart attack. He was then 82 years, 10 months, 10 days. He is survived by his youngest sister Mary Cilia back home in Malta. The body was prepared in the hospital and brought to Don Bosco Youth Centre. The sister of St. Mary's Convent was on time to come to Don Bosco Youth Centre and prepare the place in the chapel. The body remained warm, remarkable, longer than usual. Father Cilia nature a special corner in the heart for anyone coming from any of the village belonging to the one-time parish of Chongsha, which he opened in 1972. He remembers so many of them by name years after he had worked that parish. Perhaps it was logically that I should be inside in last moment.
Father Cilia was not a man of few words, but he did not want to waste them either. He was known to be clear, brief, and to the point. His homilies, talks, conferences were very well appreciated by all, especially by young people. He was sought after for his thoughts as well as for his works. So, his teen talks were well liked by the youngsters who frequently visited DBYC. In his book Memories Down the Years, episode number 98, Father Cilia narrates that walking along one of the myriad streets in the big city of Kolkata one afternoon, he was pleasantly surprised by a young lady. 6 years earlier, Father Cilia had been called to a school in Shillong to give the students a one-day awareness program. She was there, a student of class 10, and she said, "I found your sessions very helpful. Next time I'm going to get married, I want to invite you." Father Cilia never dispensed praise for charity, neither did he grudge it when he thought that one deserved it. He used the same judicious prudence in the use of money. As parish priest, He built a school and dispensary in the parish of Jonksha. He supported a seminarian in Christ King College. The finest example of that thrift and discretion is the physical and ideological existence of DBYC. Father Cilia was strict with himself as he was with others. His discipline, single-mindedness and high degree of devotion to a purpose made it difficult for others to keep up with him. In the 62 years he spent in India, he worked in many places, did many things. But it is Don Bosco Youth Centre that is Father Cilia's clear and lasting signature. It enshrines his vision, his passion, his wisdom. It is his enduring masterpiece, forever a gift to the young.
A message for young people should be this, could be this. Having a problem in life or having problems in life, it's not something bad. It's just a chance you give yourself in order to keep on growing. That one word, problem, is a frightening word, you know. You think you're going to the dogs, you're going astray and so on. Whereas talking about problems, personal problems, is a chance to give yourself occasion to keep on growing. I remember now, I look at young people who are grown up now, and before you used to come and talk, I realized that quite a number of them are quite different now from what they were, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Why? Because they came to speak, they came to talk, they developed, they reflected and so on, and now they are different altogether. When I look at them at times, from the moral point of view and so on, I find a tremendous growth in them. The growth because they reflected on themselves, because they came to talk and share and ask advice. So my advice to young people is simply this: don't be afraid of problems. Problems are occasions to grow.